What is your hottest Survivor take? What's your most controversial opinion about a season, a player, or the show in general?
Such a lame answer. I mean, I was gonna say, why can't they eat fish raw? Like, I just don't understand.
I've never heard that before. I thought you said lame. It was gonna be like, oh, here's something about Final Four fire making.
I mean, that's like all I can think about. Like,
why can't they eat fish raw?
There are so many times where a tribe doesn't have their flint yet, and they earn the reward, and it's fish, and it's raw, but they can't eat it. And I'm like, it's sushi. Like, I would be just shoving that fish down my throat, scales and all. I don't care, just like gnawing into it. Like, I mean, it's fresh fish out of the Fijian Sea.
You're going full Gollum style.
Yeah, like,
I love
why
it.
not? So that's just a question I've had at the forefront of my mind. I don't know if that counts as.
I think that counts as a hot take.
I would like to eat the fish raw.
That is maybe one of the hottest takes I've ever heard in my life, let alone not Survivor related.
Yeah, so just coming off of last season, I mean, 46.
Yes.
Obviously, that was a remarkable season on many fronts, and there was a lot of conversation about Rhea and Charlie and the whole thing, and I really believe that Charlie was robbed. But I think that it was maybe a position that he opened the door for. So are you robbed because you unlock your front door and leave it open for somebody to walk in, or you're robbed because they actually break in your door?
That's a really interesting way to put it. Yeah, I've never heard it like that before.
But I still believe he was robbed.
That he was the latter?
I believe he was robbed because, I think given sort of the conversation he had going into this, what Maria would do for him, etc., and it didn't work out that way. But as Jeff always says, this is a game where you have to trust someone, but you can't trust any of these people.
Yeah.
And so how much do you open that door for someone to rob you versus how much do you kind of keep it shut and try to protect yourself?
2. Number 1, us as fans, we want villains back. I want more villains. Like, I love the stories, but I love the gameplay too. And I love a Tony or a Russell or a Coach or a Brandon. Like, when, iconic moments, like when I forget her name, but she dumped the rice everywhere. Like, we want a little bit of that back. I think, that's my hot take on Survivor. But truly, I'm probably going to get totally slayed for this, but I think Russell was one of the best players there was, and he should have won. I would have voted for him personally.
Either season, first one, any particular one?
Every time he played.
Every single time he played. Russell,
yeah,
I'm voting for you.
He is the GOAT. I mean, he dominated it. So
I'm intrigued when it comes to that first perspective, because there's been so much argument as well as to is so-and-so a villain from the new era? Do you think there is anyone from the new era, the last couple seasons in particular, that falls into that bucket for you?
Soft. I think
really?
Yeah. Even this last season, everyone's like, "Oh, Q is a villain." I'm like, no, he's not. Q's just being himself. He beats himself up, makes people mad, and no, even the whole thing of not picking Liz for the Liz was not she's not entitled to that. She didn't win, and Q shouldn't out of pressure have to pick her if that's not who he wants to spend the time with, especially if it's a strategic decision for him. So I'm just people calling Q a villain. I'm like, no, everybody's gone soft. Who knows? Maybe I'll come out here as a villain.
Well, I don't know if it was last season or the season before, the 2 people that quit, I was disgusted. I was like, knowing the process that we have to do to get here, you never watched a show, you didn't think you were going to be uncomfortable, to be I miss my bed, I want to go home. It to me just was, terrible.
So, again, I haven't watched a lot of Survivor, but the last season I was watching was Heroes versus Villains. I would love some of those, just one-on-one brutal challenges, man. Let's bring those
say that
back.
From your perspective,
well, of course I'm going to say that from my perspective. Yeah, I mean, what do you want from me? You're throwing the puzzles at people. Why can't I throw the physical challenges at others? Come on.
Where's the challenges for
us?
us?
Where's the challenges for me?
I mean, that was an epic challenge.
It was.
It was. You talk about putting your body on the line like you do.
Yes.
Their shoulders were dislocated and toes were broken.
Only for the week.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. That's true.
God, people are going to hate me back home. Oh, well, sorry.
I think that you should not be allowed to ask what someone's going to do with the money in the final tribal council.
Okay.
I think that should have that's no indication of how someone played. The rules are to outwit, outplay, and outlast. And that's what the jury should be making their decision based on, not on who needs the money the most or who do you think is going to use it the best. Like, no, it should be based on your gameplay, not outside factors.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough because you obviously get to know people out there and everyone has a reason to vote the way that they do, but it sounds like you're going to be more gameplay. Are you going to be checking the resumes, that type of juror?
Yeah, definitely, like, looking at, like, what did you actually do for this game, not, like, who's the most likable. I think it should be, like, how did you play? I'm checking the boxes. Did you win challenges? Did you make big moves? Like, not like, oh, you were really nice to everybody. I think that that's just, like, a plus that keeps people from voting you off, but I don't think that that should be a reason someone should win.
Okay. So, I look at, like, let's just take D, okay? And that season, I'm using this as an example, but it is nothing against the cast and crew. But when you watch those type of seasons, it's hard not to wonder. The controversial spin I have is, would that player have won without an Austin, without a Drew?
Gotcha.
Would they have won? Was their game that solid that without that particular player who, and a little bit of a romance, as an example, no hate here, but would that have translated to the same victory?
Yeah.
Now, again, you could say that with a lot of seasons, but my argument would be certain players really stand out, Boston Rob being one of them. His intellectual game and style of communication transcends a lot of those seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, going from voted out, what, like fourth his first time?
Yeah, he made it to the merge, but didn't make. He was the mergatory boot, basically. Didn't make the jury.
Didn't make the jury. To well-known player. My argument to that is, my controversial spin on this is, you know, out of the new generation, really sit back and look at how many of these players truly did their own gameplay, or how much of this was those outside influences from others.
My friends are going to kill me for this because they hate this. But, you know, we're going to crank the oven up to like 900 right now.
There we go.
And I think like Redemption Island, not the season, I think the twist is a really good idea. And, you know, I know you're a purist, Mike. You know, I'm a purist too. But I think this game has so many curveballs, knuckleballs, sliders, change-ups, you know, screwballs, any pitch you can think of, that you got to make sure you hit every single one. And if you miss on one, you're gone. So I think that second chance ability to win yourself back in, I don't think that's like the worst idea.
Yeah.
And my friends are always like, you know, once you're out, you're out. That's it. You're done with Survivor. You know, you have to wait and, you know, maybe you might get another shot, you might not. And that's just how it goes. But
Are you trying to manifest right now? Like, Jeff, can you give me that safety net? Can you give me that strike two?
I just feel like everyone deserves a second chance. I think that, you know, I've been through a lot in my life. My mother's had her fair share of second chances with health, and we're very, very grateful for it. She's had awesome medical care, and I think that, you know, if you deserve one, if you work hard enough, I think you should get a second chance at something.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
This is always a good disclaimer for what you're about to say.
Boston Rob. He won on his, what, like fourth time?
Fourth time.
It feels like six because we see his face so often. I just wasn't a fan of him in any of his seasons at all. And like, okay, sorry again, Jeff, sorry Boston Rob, but he won on Redemption Island when like no one knew how to play Survivor. He just told people what to do and no one tried to like fight it. So like, it's not, put him on any other season, he wouldn't have won.
Is he not on the Mount Rushmore in your opinion?
Nope.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That Boston Rob is like a censored word amongst me and my friends. We have to asterisk like one of the vowels for me.
Oh, interesting.
For my sanity, yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is controversial because I think Q's polarizing. You either love him or you like don't like his gameplay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Liz. You either like Liz because she's so, you know, crazy and chaotic, or you don't like Liz because she does outbursts and blah. Or Venus, same thing. Like Venus, Q. I really like those characters. I like characters who bring their charm, pizzazz, but also like they're not afraid to showcase who they are. And I think for me, like I play it so safe at home, and I'm just such a normal guy. I really do think I'm just a normal guy. Maybe I'm not actually, but I think I'm normal back at home. But here it's like, okay, Kevin, it's time to be diabolical. Like time to utilize everything that's in your head for like the last like 10 years, and like all the circumstances I've been through in life, like all the shortcomings, and like use that fire and passion, and like, yeah, play aggressively, play day one, like don't be afraid to hold back. So that's my hot take, that people who play hard is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually like their character, and actually they're very real about that.
Yeah, this is difficult. you can tell some of the 30s are on my mind recently because I did some rewatching of those.
Yeah.
And the new era, obviously. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Adam's season. I think that Adam was a phenomenal player, but I think that what season was that?
Millennials versus Gen X.
What's the number? Sorry.
33.
I think that there are 5 players on that season that were better Survivor players than Adam. Hannah, number 1. Justice for Hannah, and then in no particular order, David, Zeke, and Jay. I think like pound for so that's 4. I think pound for pound, those were like. I just think that season had so many great players, and
Absolutely,
it's like not talked about because like every single one of them had a legitimate shot to win the game, and they were all great, including Adam. I just think that he, and maybe this is what makes him the winner of that season, his timing was impeccable.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching him too, but I just came away from that season thinking I loved all of those players, even Ken as well. Like his in game was kind of like a little rough shot, but like I really thought that was a great play. So I think that's my hot take. 4 of them were better than Adam. I'm making it hot.
There we go. It is spicy right now, but I love it.
Oh my God, I just thought about this earlier. My hot take is that Applebee's isn't that great. I can't say I've ever eaten there, but I've heard from friends that like have eaten there and like gotten sick. And I'm sure I'll love it because it'll be food.
That's the thing. From what I've seen and heard, it's very any port in a storm of like, all right, great, but
yeah,
you're not gonna have a Liz-esque.
I'm not.
Reaction.
When they're like, it's Applebee's, I'm gonna be like, okay, translate, it's food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basic caloric consumption.
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, it's sustenance for me. My family and I, we didn't really have the money to go out and eat, so I can't really say that I'm that familiar with that many restaurants. Because I just didn't go out to eat that much.
I think Boston Raw is extremely overrated.
He's not on your Mount Rushmore?
He played 4 times with a bunch of scrubs. Of course he was going to win. It's like, listen, Jeff, we know that he's a great storyteller.
Absolutely.
We know that, but like whenever you put him head to head with Russell Hantz, who everyone hated already, it just like made him look that much better. And yes, he did an awesome job out there. Like I don't know how he was able to like stay that long in the game, and nobody even tried to make a move. But I don't think he's one of the best to ever play because he's been given so many opportunities. So it's like,
Malcolm was a little overrated.
Okay, interesting.
I hate that I said that because he was good at challenges.
Yeah.
But I think, what else did you bring to the table? I can't think of a single thing that Malcolm said that I was like, that was really insightful.
You're not a fan of the Three Amigos idol play?
No. I think he was actually pretty basic. Aside from the fact that he was hot and he was fit, I just cannot remember a single thing he did.
Okay. I know that a lot of people, especially right now, because it's happened so often since season 35, they hate fire making. I love fire making. We just need to do it more. The fact that it's only once doesn't make any sense. 2 people have to compete in fire when everybody should learn how to make fire. We need to do it more. You got to earn everything, right? That's the thing. You got to earn everything. Cool. That first juror spot is like, oh, you just get to be the first juror because you were in the group that like was second. No, man. Those 2 people that got voted out during that double tribal, they sit and make fire, and the person who wins, they get to sit on the jury. They get to be the mayor of Ponderosa.
That's interesting.
Okay, cool. Now we're using fire more throughout it, because if fire is your life, and the only way that fire is your life is if you win Final Four and your torch, it's not enough.
Yeah.
We need more. Give us more fire. I didn't practice every single day for how many weeks, just on the off chance that I end up in the 4th and 3rd spot where I have to. No, man, let's do this more. Make it part of a challenge. Make it the opening challenge, too. 3 times. Opening challenge, this, and then...
Yeah, Survivor Gabon, their first individual immunity challenge was fire making.
Fire making, exactly. And I think it would also be cool if it was like... I know this is taking it way crazy.
No,
but if it was like, hey, the fire making thing, it's not at Tribal.
Yeah.
Ready? Go. Like, go.
Yeah, go forage.
Go get it. And first person who makes fire out here, good luck, you win.
Wow.
That I'm into. Now we're making fire making a thing, and I think it'd be a cool story to tell too. You walking around the jungle with them, and they're trying to figure it out, and it's like, oh man, I expected to just have flint and the whatever. It's like, no man, this might take a day, but good luck.
I mean, I think all advantages at this point are disadvantages.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, are you someone that if you see Beware, you're gonna pass it by?
Not for me. Not for me.
Not going in the cart?
Not an add to cart. No, not for me. I think I think Bewares are super fun to watch on television, right? I loved seeing Tiffany scramble. I loved seeing Hunter with his little hands underneath the stairs trying to like pull that thing out from underneath. Like those are memorable, exciting television moments. Neither of those people won. And I think there is pretty good data, and I did a lot of Billy Beaning on the side. I have a good friend of mine who helped me put together a lot of analysis on Survivor.
Hell yeah, Survivor Sabermetrics. I love
that.
Yeah,
we did a lot of Survivor Sabermetrics, and one of the we looked at a bunch of different questions. Is it better or worse to have a final jury or that is full of your old tribe mates or not? When and what are we did like a full oh my God, what is it called? I'm totally blanking on the name. It's where you run something, Monte Carlo. We did like a Monte Carlo analysis of how and when you should play your shot in the dark or not. Wow. Right? I really looked at some of these like data points, and ultimately, I don't know, maybe my medium take is like shot in the dark actually has a slightly higher good guy percentage to me. And idols have a slightly worse good guy percentage to me. They're less useful. Whereas a shot in the dark actually could, in the right scenario, when there's a lot of players in the game and you're relatively confident their vote's coming at you, it's not a bad idea to use. So I don't know. Advantages are a disadvantage. And I'm like really not interested in them. And if you look at the winners in the last 6 seasons, and it's unfortunate, I don't have like a fortune cookie that tells me what happened in season 47. Right? I know it's already happened. But if you look at the winners, right, there were only 2 with idols.
No, I think Marianne had one.
And I guess like
technically it was a communal idol.
She had like a shared idol, right? Like, and neither of them played them in conventional ways.
Yeah.
Marianne, I guess, had technically 2 idols, right? She plays the one with Drea, and then she plays her idol at final. I don't know. I think the data suggests it's not always going to behoove you, but boy, is it good TV.
Oh, yes.
I know. Don't tell anyone on production that I'm not interested in Advantage.
Oh, no.
They're going to like litter my walk with them. They're going to be like, what about that coconut stuff? What about that one? Hey, have you checked this sheet? Also, like literally, my joke is that I'm going to say all this stuff in pregame, and then I know I'm going to do different shit.
But that's
I'm going to
the
get out
fun
there
of
and be
this.
like, but I want to look for one.
I mean,
Everybody else has one.
That the Advantage Palooza isn't a bad thing.
Interesting.
I feel like people are really hung up on like old school, new era, and all the differences. And like, I think the literal point of Survivor is to be adaptable and figure it out. And if there are 10 advantages in the game, I think that's part of it. I mean, do I think it's a little crazy when it's like you see someone's name and it's like all the things? Yes. But I do feel like you have to try things out in this game to see what works and what doesn't. And I think that if you have captivating, interesting people playing the game, that's really all that matters, no matter what gets into the nooks and crannies of the game. So I'm a person who's kind of like, I don't think the advantages are bad. Let's just see what happens. Watch I like literally go, I'm Suri in Game Changers, and I'm the only person without one and go home. I'll be like, I have a new opinion.